Another difficult passage that many people have as it relates to the Holy Spirit is Ephesians 5:18. It reads this way, "Do not get drunk on wine, which leads to debauchery. Instead, be filled with the Spirit." So why this is a difficult passage is it's hard for us to rightly interpret that last phrase, what it means to be filled with the Spirit. And oftentimes we just pull this from its context, which is a dangerous thing to do. And once it's out of its context, then we can make it mean anything we want it to mean. Some would say being filled with the Spirit is, again, speaking in tongues. And then we have a whole list of other things that we add to it. But put it back into its context, it really has a practical meaning. So that's what we want to do today. Do not get drunk on wine, which leads to debauchery. Instead, be filled with the Spirit. Well, what does it mean to be filled with something? Well, to be filled in the Greek language means really to be controlled by. It's the motivating force, the propelling, compelling force in a person's life. And whatever you depend upon for meaning and purpose in life will ultimately control you. So this gets down to the faith element of this Christian life, by grace through faith in Jesus. Faith, an aspect of it, is dependence. Our dependence was misplaced before knowing Christ. We were depending upon the things of this world. Now that we've come to Christ, our dependence is in the right place, the proper place, on the right person, Jesus Christ himself. So whatever you depend upon, though, is ultimately going to control you. So many people are controlled by alcohol, or controlled by popularity, or controlled by drugs, or controlled by their jobs. They're workaholics. Well, what are they saying? That their meaning and purpose to life is drawn from those things. And those things become the propelling, compelling force in their life. Well, the Spirit is to be that. He's the one that is to motivate us and to move us and empower us in life. So being filled with the Spirit has something to do with Him being the source of this life that we're going to walk in every single day. To be filled with the Spirit, quite frankly, is to be filled with the love of God. That becomes the motivating force. We're to be compelled by the love of God. That's why in Ephesians 3, Paul prayed this, "I pray that out of his glorious riches he may strengthen you with power through his Spirit in your inner being." So this is an internal reality that's going to happen, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. And I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, may have power together with all the saints to grasp how wide and long and high and deep is the love of Christ, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled to the measure of all the fullness of God. So here's this word filled again, same word. And so here it's being filled to the measure of all the fullness of God. Well, when are you filled to the measure of all the fullness of God? When you have an understanding of the height and depth and length and breadth of the love of God that surpasses knowledge. So when we're filled by the Spirit, we are being controlled by the Spirit, which means we are being controlled by the very love of God. So when we make decisions, when we have relationship issues, if we're going to be controlled by the Spirit, it means we're going to be controlled by the love of God. We're going to let love shape the course of our actions in that particular relationship. So now to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us. So it gets back to the meaning of Pentecost. Christ in you, the hope of glory. He has given us His Spirit. His Spirit will control us, will connect us to the love of Christ, and that love will be the compelling force in every aspect of our lives. That's what it means to be filled with the Spirit. Hi, I'm Bob Christopher. Thanks for joining us on this edition of Basic Gospel Answers. We'll have a new video up next week, next Thursday at 10 o'clock. So be sure and subscribe, like, and ring the bell so that you'll be notified when the next edition of Basic Gospel Answers is coming your way. We'll see you next time.